Welcome back, everyone. Today I have some special guests with me, and I want to say thank you, gentlemen, for joining. And right now I'm going to kick it over to you, Dom, and let you do all the introductions.
Well, Jade, I want to say thank you for taking the time out on a Sunday, speaking with us. Bill, thank you. we got Bill away from the computer. That's a big deal, guys. It's hard to get this guy on camera. But anyway, so I'm King Creole, VP at Bash Gang Studios. I'm here with our illustrious leader, Mr. Billy McLaughlin, Old Man Ruckus, as a lot of you guys know him. Bill has been at this for years, man. Bill has not only been a staple in the FGC scene. Bill has been gaming since the 2600, like many of us. And when I talked to Bill as to why he wanted to make games or make this console, this is something that he's been thinking about doing for a long time. And then for those that know Bash Game Studio, we've been helping out a lot of folks. A lot of games wouldn't be running without Bash Game Studios from a lot of your favorite companies who will rename nameless. We've been behind the scenes. Well, we finally convinced Bill to get on the front of the stage. And so now this is our time to shine, and we're putting out our product, something that is our own IP, our own self proprietary information that we are putting together. This is no straight from China shovelware. Let's get that on the table. This is something that we are curating with exclusive licenses that a lot of you will like. It's not just Google Play apps. It's not just AntStream, which you could get that on Atari VCS and other units. All units that are coming out now have apps on it. That's just the nature of the beast.
Right.
Messiah, who is our marketing director, tells me he bought a Samsung monitor that has apps with AntStream. I'm like, a monitor? But anyway, Bill's going to come talk to us today about the technical specs of this bash box. I know a lot of people been asking, so I just wanted to kind of give you guys a backstory as to why we're doing this. This is for everybody. We're going to make this compatible with a lot of things that I'm sure Jade is going to dig into later. But this will be for everything. It's not just one company. It's not just one machine. There's going to be a multitude of things that you could do with this box. For people like me, I travel a lot. One thing that Bill got my attention with is the fact that I could use this as like a little workstation while I'm in these hotels. I could get work done, check my emails. I don't have to pack so much. I could game, watch my movies. So I look at it kind of like how people look at the Atari VCS, right? I've seen people, my boy Sheldon, a lot of people know Sheldon Sims. He uses it as like a mini desktop. So without further ado, I'm gonna kick this back off to Jade. Jade, please don't let Bill get off easy. Ask him a tough question. That's why we here.
Well, the first thing, and thank you again for being here, gentlemen. But the first thing that I want to ask is, how does the licensing work with this? What is, like, just break it down for me, Bill.
So let's talk license. So when we're creating video games and we're doing the retro side of the house, especially when we're working over iArcade and At Games, there's you normally get licenses for titles. They give you, they allow you to use IP. They want a certain amount of money for different things, but within the console space, licensing is a completely different beast. It's not just working with companies. You got to work with the FCC. You got to work with the CE in Europe. With Google, there's an entire process in order to create a device that allows you to run, Android and then have the Google Play certification. It's not just to have everybody have a little transparency on how that process works. When you buy a device that has Google Play on it, that becomes Google Play certified before you're able to unlock it or do whatever you want to do. It's an entire process that Google makes you go through. It's long, it's arduous, it's time consuming, it's money. It costs a crap ton of money, but that's an entire process that you have to go through in order for a device to be Google Play certified. Once it's Google Play certified, then there's different options you get within Google. There's different ways you can target your specific device versus another device. Kind of how NVIDIA Shield did it back in the day, where there was only games that still to this day only work on the Shield TV, to where there's going to be the same case with the bashbox. There's going to be only games that work on the bashbox. You can't really install it elsewhere unless you go through like Amazon Market or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
with ours, we're to be completely Google Play certified. So everything you can get from Google, as well as Unicode's global match, you'll be able to get from our device.
Wow, that's cool. So as far as this just popped into my head though, as
Right.
far as like that whole process. So you said specifically to like Bash as a company who's deving games or deving your own games that are going onto the device, right?
Right.
What happens, like how long are those games supported for, or like how long is the device support once you purchase one of these? Like what kind of a warranty does it have?
So you're going to have your standard 1 year warranty. If something's wrong, it. I guess because I've been so ingrained in the community, people just call me anyway. Like, hey, Bill,
But they gonna call
I'm
it.
having a problem with bowling. I'm having a problem with Tank Bash. People to this day, we're still working on Tank Bash issues. We had Ryan, my brother, sadly just lost his wife, so we kind of halted on Tank Bash for a little bit.
Oh,
But
sorry.
it's definitely things where people know that I'm from the community. So if you need something's wrong with something that we have, you can definitely contact us. As well as this is also supported by Unico. So you also have Unico's customer support. You have two different companies of support that you're able to go to. On top of people know me, I'm not some celebrity. I'm saying Bill from the forum, so they'll just inbox me and I'll respond and I'll try to help them right away.
So the 1 year time frame
Mm-hmm.
covers like the whole product.
Right. If of defects, if you get something and something happened to the product and you have to swap it out or something, send you a new one.
So
It's just
if I pour water on mine and then say that it
that
broke.
doesn't count. So, well, let's be specific. If it's like you, let's say you try to install a game for Google Play, that game was bad or something, and it caused a lot of different issues with your unit. We'll either fix your unit or just replace with another one.
Okay. Okay. So if it gets bricked accidentally or from an update or something, like you're just gonna
Right.
replace it. Okay.
Exactly.
And
Um.
also, Jay, real quick, I'll throw in too. We have a Discord community, and we have a bunch of community members that include some of the original developers for the games that will be on the box, as well as our QA manager. All the players that have worked on this stuff will be easily accessible. So it's not like you wouldn't be able to get in our channels or reach out on social media to get a question answered if you have any technical issues as far as the machine.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's cool. I mean, it's good to know that there's. It sounds like there's like a pool of support that's kind of just readily available.
Yes.
Um. So I think that that's a big thing, especially inside of, well, if we're talking about like the home arcade community in relation to like Unico, that's been like always a big thing. Like, people weren't getting enough support from Arcade One Up or iArcade, or Arcade One Up is taking forever to ship out certain PCBAs and things like that. Like, I just know that's like one thing that it's probably difficult to deal with in general, but to have like kind of a platform where there's community support as well is always an important caveat, I guess, when it comes to customer support, right?
Oh yeah. So
That's
with us, we've even with Unico, when I did still work there, people would just contact me on the forum and say, "Hey, something's wrong with my device." Now, I wasn't customer support at all; I was the lead software developer. So, most of the time, their problems wouldn't be something that I would, necessarily by trade work on. It's just that when they contacted me, I was the person they would see, as well as Jay, my mentor. They would contact us directly. And if they felt like they couldn't get support, they would definitely hit us up in the chats, and we usually made things happen as fast as possible.
So one question that's been buzzing that I've heard about, and that I've seen other people kind of talking about, is it like whether there's a relationship to the iArcade community, like if this product is related in some way to the iArcade community or iArcade itself. And I'm under the impression it's not, but I just want to hear from you guys, like, what is there any relationship to it, or like is it being marketed in a specific market, or is it just going out everywhere? Like, what's the deal with that?
Yeah, I can
So,
answer.
oh,
I can answer that,
go
Bill.
ahead now.
So this is not just specifically marketed to the iArcade. This is for everybody. We've got folks that have already ordered Polycade Senteis that said, "Hey, I'm gonna drop this in my Sentei." There's people who are ordering the Nova and saying, "Hey, can I add this in here?" So this is good. And I've also seen iArcade folks saying they're gonna drop it in their machine. So it's for everybody that wants to do whatever they want to do with it. Now, to address the part, Jade, where you said it's a lot of the iArcade community that might be seeing this. Well, we're pushing it out to a lot of the forums that some of us manage, right? So, and a lot of those people from the iArcade community and even Arcade One Up community are in those channels. So it could look like it's marketed directly to them, but it's not. That's just the forums that we run and we put our information out.
Not to mention, this isn't so much as an iArcade or arcade product in general. This is an actual console. You hook up to hook up through HDMI. You get a controller with it. You
Right.
plug in, use as you need to. A lot of the pre-orders that I'm seeing actually are from people who want to use this for not just gaming purposes. They, because of the fact that you got the Microsoft Office, I want to say loophole where they don't make you pay for the licensing for Word, Excel, stuff like that. If you have a device with a screen under 7 inches, this counts and it's accessible. It's available for those guys too. So for productivity, it's really good with that, with having those available for you. You don't have to. You can sign in at 365 if you need to, but you can also use these apps for free for whatever purposes you need them for. So even not just that, the Media Crowd, the Plexes, the 4K Netflix, the 8K Hulu's. Right now, it's a software update that we'd have to push out later for 8K, but this does do 4K at 60 frames a second, as well as 1080p at 120 frames a second.
So that the max refresh rate is going to be 120 hertz that it's capable of at 4K.
Yep. No, 120 at 1080 and
at 1080.
60
Okay.
at 4K.
Okay, yeah. That's still really good. That's still really good. Okay, so I have a question that was sent in to me, and I'm gonna read it off to you guys. It's kind of long,
Go ahead.
but there are two parts to it. So this question is from Keo Daikin, and he says, "Hi Bash Gaming. In regards to your new console gaming, I see the unit is priced at $250 plus $15 for shipping for a total of $265. The same chipset RK3588 can be found in the Orange Pi 5, Rock Pi 5 at an entry-level cost of $69.99. You explained the customer would download Android and start playing games. I can order the Orange Pi 5 at a starting cost of $69.99. Customers are more than likely have a PS4 or Xbox style controller laying around. How do you justify the price of $250, which is a 350% markup, versus me just buying a device myself on AliExpress and downloading everything for free the community is already provided?"
So you still reading?
There's a second part to it, so you can go ahead and then I'll just do the second part.
You want me to speak technicals, why, or go ahead now?
And I'll let Bill do the technical part of that question. So first off, to address this, the issue that I see from our tech community, right? Folks that are technologically inclined. Well, I could buy this and I could do it for free, or I could do that. Well, we're not marketing not just to a single group of people. When you look at marketing, you have to look at the masses, right? The masses is not going to get a rock chip or whatever you chip, a box. They're not going to get it from China and then program it themselves. The average person wants to go click order, and is it ready to go once I get it? I done seen many people in the community selling mini PCs with images that I could go down. If I know how to do this, I could get my own mini PC, go to Arcade Punks, download an image for free, and be on about my way. But I see people paying $250. I see arcades get redone for $600 to $1,200. Why are they paying that price? Because they don't know how to do it. Simple. So what Bill's offering is a box that is already done. It's got proprietary information from our in-house shop. There are licenses that you can't get if I go order this blank chip from China. Ain't nothing on there, right? So there's going to be exclusive items on this that you wouldn't be able to get. And I'll let Bill answer the tech side of it.
So the simple answer is this isn't an orange pie nor a rock pie. You can buy an orange pie. I have an orange pie and a rock pie, but these are not orange pies nor rock pies. These are boards that were specifically made for us. These are PCBAs that we sat and designed. We went with the Rockchip 3588 chipset versus a different chipset. I've even had PCBA boards where I was working with Snapdragons, where I was going to go a little bit higher, but the cost for those to the consumer would have been too high. So with these devices, these aren't just something that we just said, hey, we're going to take a rock pie and just slap slap something on there.
And it got software on it. No, we didn't do that.
Yeah. We're not just throwing. And I'm not making emulator boxes. If I was going to do an emulator box, I wouldn't go through the processes that I had to go through in order to make this happen. I would just take rock pies and just throw whatever I wanted on there. But at the same time, we needed to make sure we had Google Play certified devices. That's where the real licensors come in. That's where the Capcoms come in. That's where the Data East come in. The people who want to actually play your games. Sure, you can download stuff from Google Play and put it on a Rockchip, and then you can even play a lot of the same games. But a lot of them you won't be able to play. A lot of them you won't be able to play at a decent rate. Guys who just want to come in, give this to their kids, or just play themselves. They just want to get in and play Fortnite. They want to get in and play Roblox. With Fortnite, you do need an additional piece of software. But if you want to get in and play Call of Duty with keyboard and mouse, you can do that anytime you feel like it. You can pretty much do whatever you need to do in a not just legal basis, but with backing from multiple different companies. On top of, you have 2 official storefronts, one that won't be available on different devices. The global match won't be available on any device that Unicode has put out there. And then Google Play, sure, you can have it, but eventually you'll run into places where it doesn't actually work with this game or that game, because the Google Play you're using open gaps or using night gaps, but you're not using an official Google Play method of installation. So you'll have those problems as well.
Right.
With not just that, with support. Now, also, if you brick your rock pie because you try to do something wrong, you may be able to send it back. You may not. You might run into the same issues that people have with bigger companies as well. But with all of that comes money, and then there is this huge impression that we're making a crap ton of money. I'm a millionaire. I literally live in West Philly, so it's not like we're a place.
Where I'm still at.
Yeah, I'm. If I was doing it for the money, believe me, I would be charging a lot more.
So to break it down, though, essentially, like the cost is coming in at the cost of developing this board specifically for your project. You're using that chipset, but it's your own board that you guys have designed and engineered, basically, right?
Exactly. And then we had to send all that to Google as well, because you can't just send Google a rock pie and say, hey, put we want to put Android on this. They're going to
it's Google it's Google certified. Yeah. Right. And so it has Google's stamp of approval. It's your own board, and then what was the other thing? Oh, it comes with Android and your front end on it. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Our front end is going now. You're going to see almost a stockish Android screen. We might change it up later on for different users, but my idea was for people to get in, see something familiar, get in right and play. Not have to find too much. You'll have your Play Store, you'll have your preloaded apps, you'll have your Global Match. Global Match will have all of your retro titles in it. That's where you go to buy any games that we have licensed from our partners. And With Google Play, you'll be able to get whatever you want from Google Play. Eventually, also we're planning different ways for proprietarily selling individual indie dev stuff. But for now, we encourage everybody to go to itch.io and download their Android titles. iArcade games work almost out of the box.
Oh wait, okay, wait. What do you mean by that?
So when you buy itch.io game, so for example, I bought Doodle Taxi. I actually had a nice conversation with the guy who made Doodle Taxi. Just works. The controls are the same controls you would use on an iArcade. If you look at the iArcades A, B, C, D, and then you translate Z and C to L and R, they just work. Wizard of Walls is amazing. Wizard of Walls, I didn't even know was 4K.
I love that game.
Donut Dodo has a nice little border to it. It's actually really nice on here. These games that run.
What's that Joust one? The Joust like game?
Oh yeah. Oh shoot.
I don't remember what that game was called. But
I loved that game. That was like my favorite game.
Oh, and I can't leave without bringing up my guy Renzo. He's doing a 4K version of Heavy Metal Titans for us. To throw in the bashbox. That's going to be preloaded on everyone.
Wait, did I lose your audio? Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah. You're good. Okay, sorry. Yes. Okay. Well, that's cool. That's cool. So it comes preloaded with Android, Google certified, and your front end, which you said is just like a simplified kind of style of the Android. And so the Play Store. So obviously, if you can use the Play Store, then if somebody wanted, like if a more techie person wanted, they could download like some of the emulators and like play. You could play emulators on the bashbox through.
If it's on the Play Store, you can download it.
Right.
Everything's free game.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's cool. That's very very neat. So as far as the pricing goes, like what is the basic, aside from obviously like what you're paying for is the certification, the board that is specific to your guys' design, and then the casing for it. Is there, like, what else goes into it, like cooling system, casing, and how many peripherals can be hooked up to it?
So you have your casing. We do provide a controller with it, but you definitely, for certain games you might want to grab a keyboard and mouse. You have external sound that's, how you want to hook up the USB-C. You have, dual monitors. If you want to plug, you need to use two monitors for what you need to use for. You got that support. I guess the pinball community was really interested in that because you have those Zen pinball tables that on this device will support dual monitors. That's where you have you'll definitely have 4K pinball that way too. So
oh, wow.
You have different things that you could do with the device that it would be, you really can only, I don't want to say you can only do with this device, but it streamlines a lot of things for people who just want to get into it, just want to get in and play the game.
So real quick, let me pivot, Jade, if you don't mind. Bill, what is the benefits of a customized board? Because I know I've been seeing the chat and people are asking about the different customization. So what is the benefit of having that customized board?
So when you design your own board for mass production like this, you don't want to use something that somebody else normally has, because then you're relying on their technology. You're relying on someone else's point of view. You're relying too much on the community, not enough on your own skill sets. And I don't want to say, hey, want to rely on the community, but you do want to put out something that you yourself went out and said, okay, I like this. I want to put this here. I want to put that there. I've tested this. I don't like how the Rock Pie does this, so I'm going to do this way. There's different things that, I had to look and study different boards, different brands, different types of chipsets. Again, my ultimate goal at the time was Snapdragon, but going through the process of getting a board out that would be anywhere, consumer friendly and provide, an adequate amount of power for what they want to do, the Snapdragon just didn't fit at the time. And that's why we decided on Arcade 3588. And even Arcade 3588, we were thinking about going with the S model, but the S model doesn't allow for a lot of different things, especially with dual monitors. It doesn't allow dual monitor support at the same way. So, it's basically so we could tailor everything the way we want to push it out there. It's kind of the same way, like, Xbox is using almost off the shelf RAM, the way they use the LPDDR RAM, the way they use their proprietary storage, all that stuff they did because they want to make sure that when it's time to support something, I know exactly what to go in and fix. I don't have to rely on somebody else's work.
Right. And then
Yeah.
also, I see this question about the testing. That's been tested on any of those products? Well, I've tested it on a few. Bill, how many other products? The Nova is not. We don't have a Nova. We haven't tested it on that yet.
So I can't speak to all the devices I've tested it on except the IRK, which worked fine for me. But I'm using the proprietary connectors that we're coming out with next year, and the MVSX, of course, because Unico. But other than that, I can't really say what we've tested it on. Just no, we may have adapters coming for them soon.
So okay, but it's also just meant to be used as a standalone console,
Right.
and
Yep.
but you have been able to use it or adapt it to a MVSX and iArcade no problem.
Right, right. And then, there's other things that it'll just work on, like the Polycade Sense, because the way Tyler's pushing that out, it's meant for to be able to plug in whatever you want to plug in. The Nova Blast to an extent as well. So things like that will just
Right.
work. But, with the MVSX, we have different connectors. Again, it's coming from Unico. So this was a thing that it was on our minds. But we also have, we tried it on different arcade brands as well as like the At Games Legends, the OTG mode. That's just going to work.
Yeah, that's really cool that it's gonna be so versatile. And when oh well, I guess we can't talk about that. So I was gonna go in the Unico Candy direction, but I remembered you guys kind of already covered that in your last thing. We don't know when it's coming out yet.
Actually, we do. They made it public that it's coming in April.
Oh, in
Yep.
April. Okay, I did see the thing on, I think it was Instagram or X, Twitter, where they were saying pre-orders are going to be available on the 20th, I think.
Yep.
Um, so that's cool. Okay, so we answered the question about testing, and then can I go ahead and go into the second part of this question?
Sure.
Um, this is very short. So the second part of the question was, nothing you've mentioned or showcased is Bash Gaming exclusive, but the work and efforts of the community for which we have developed is already free and available.
So I disagree. One, the board itself is our definitely Bash exclusive. Our titles and our licensing that we're not allowed to show at the moment, except for Bash game stuff. Bash Sports Online Bowling 2024 is coming exclusive to this. We have different titles that are exclusive to this. We have a lot of different things, especially Global Match, that's exclusive to this device. We don't really have anything that the community made that's for this, if that makes any sense. So it's like even those titles that we showed off that were Google Play titles, these are games that were working on the bashbox. These aren't things that we just pirated or what have you. The only reason I showed the games that we showed is because like games like Streets of Rage 4, I bought that off of Google Play, and the way it runs on the bashbox is just nice. Mega Man X Offline, I bought that off of Google Play. Virtual
Right.
Tennis is free. Crazy
Yeah.
Taxi is free. Ninja Turtles comes on Netflix. Netflix, you definitely have to have Google Play. You got to have Google native services working for that to work. So, we haven't shown off anything community made in this device at all.
Okay. And that was it. So, I mean, I guess that answers it. Uh, I have a question about wait, you said TMNT, is that like the new one? Are you talking about, is that available on
Yeah,
Android?
Shredder's Revenge. Yeah, that's not just on Google Play. It's on Netflix for free. If you have a Netflix subscription, it's free.
What?
They have like Sonic Mania is coming next year. They have a lot of console level titles coming out that are exclusive to Netflix online. So if you have a Android device at all, you can download those same games. But in the Bashbox, especially games like Grand Theft Auto, they have 4K options. They have different options for these type of devices.
Okay. Okay, Joel brings up a question here that I kind of had the same question, even though we went over it. But sorry, that's covering your face. um, he says real quick. He says so. It might be a good idea to mention that adapters for certain products compatibility. Okay, so what will be what adapters will be available like out of the box, like when you guys first launch, what adapters will be available for the bash box, or will you
None of them will be available.
or will you have a list of what you can use as an adapter, like
So there's different things that you can use now. Like once the bash routes get there, especially one from NIX, Nix, he has HDMI to LVDS adapters that'll work on here or in here. And I'm getting him one out next week so he can, dev kit out so he can test his hardware out in those too. So you'll have
oh
those for
you're talking about for like iArcade, MVSX, and
no, just for different LVDS adapters. For the MVSX, Unico's doing their own adapter that'll just work on the MVSX. That's proprietary to Unico. And then
okay.
there's other community ones for those too. But for us, whatever Unico will have proprietary, we'll start putting those up on the website. Now they're working on at least 5 for outside of the MVSX that'll work with those devices.
Okay. um as far as like the controls go though, uh what is going to be, is that going to be like another thing that if Unico's doing it, then it'll be done by them and then it'll just be plug and play into the device? Or will you guys have any adapters that will be coming with the system? And before I forget, the controller that comes with it, it looks like it's a pretty like nice kind of like heavy controller. It kind of reminds me of an Elite series. Is like what is that controller like?
So playing with it, it's I don't know how to explain it. I needed a controller I could play Street Fighter at high level with. Let's put it that way. Because I play Street Fighter, I play King of Fighters pretty heavily. So I needed a controller that I could play at a decent rate with. So if it didn't cut it, it definitely had to meet those standards. Put it that way. So it wasn't, I didn't want to go super elite like Xbox, one controllers, those Xbox Elite controllers, but it's definitely on par with those level of controllers because again, I needed something I could play with because this was for me.
Wow, that's yeah. I mean, it just looks nice. Like I saw it and I'm like, oh, that almost looks like an Elite. Um, but
Need some triggers on the back, Bill, for my shooting games.
Yeah, so again, now it goes back to again playing for me, Call of Duty. I need to be able to quick scope.
do you have
when I
do
need
you
to play
have
with quick scope. So
do you have
when
one that you could show off right now?
I don't. I'm not actually at the office, so I can't really. I
Oh,
didn't
okay.
stuff with me. I'm sorry, but I definitely would make it a note to show that off so you guys can see how that is. But I needed something that I could play with. I needed to be able to. I play Call of Duty at a high level. I play games at a high level. So this controller needed to suit me. Somebody who's going to play, somebody who used to compete. And then people who may want to compete later. Plus, with Call of Duty, you do have the 120 hertz advantage. But if you have a horrible controller, it doesn't even matter.
Don't matter. You will suffer.
Still.
Okay, cool. Sorry, was that it?
No.
Oh,
Hey,
peripherals. Or no. Sorry, adapters. So, are there going to be any adapters that Bash is producing for the console that will work with other units?
Dash, no. Unico will be producing those.
Okay, Unico. So essentially, the companies that are making the or that have own the arcade products or whatever product it may be, like they're going to be the ones who you're going to kind of
No. So Unico, that's why this says powered by Unico. Unico is the guys not just backing us with this; they're helping us produce a lot of this work. Plus, they guided me through the entire process of building a console. So Jay took me aside and said, "Okay, you want to make a console? This is what you got to go through. You ready for this?" So it's like, I almost thought just like those guys who were reselling, those PCs with those emulation boxes, hey, we're just gonna do this. No, definitely was not involved in that. He said, "Here you go." Learn AutoCAD so you can get this PCBA design built out. That's what we had to do. We had to go through. He took me through FCC certification, so we did that. Took me through the European CE certification, so it's to go out to Canada. We went through that. We all learned Google certification. We thought that was automatic thing. Oh, we went through that whole thing together. So not just that, there's an intense amount of testing that goes into all this. So we tested with the global match. It's already that's already released out in China and in the Asian countries, but they're bringing that over to the states along with their titles. So they have their own licensing as well that'll also be brought over within our space. So we'll have a space that'll say, the Bash Zone in Global Match, but then you'll have other games you could buy that Unico are licensed for. So we have two different companies worth of licensing that's coming on this, and it is a lot.
Yeah, that's cool. Um, so I had another question. Hold on, let me regain consciousness. Ah, ah. um, oh my God, what was it? It was such a good question too. Um, ah. I'm having a total brain fart, but it was a good question. I swear to you. Um, but anyways, well, key us in on any other. Are there any other like really specific things that you want to mention about the product itself or its capabilities, or things that you think are important for people to know about it?
So the big thing is that those same people who want to be able to put whatever builds and everything they can on, you know, you'll have a device that's also supported for you to be able to do that. This isn't just something we're going to lock down. This is for
Oh wait, wait,
it's
wait.
for
Sorry. I remembered. Okay, sorry. So does it run off of an SD card, or is like the OS embedded into the system? Like how does that work? And can you use SD cards outside of it?
uh, so the system itself isn't ran off an SD. It's ran off of the eMMC.
So
I don't want to say eMMC.
it's embedded.
Yeah, it's definitely embedded, and then
Okay.
you have your SD card as well that's you can put in and be able it supports up to 2 terabytes. So
Okay,
as
cool.
much as you need, it goes from there.
That's
Uh,
that's fat. What about hard drives?
Hard drives, USB 3.0 support for whatever hard drive you want to put in, and be able to run what you need. So right now in mine, I was just seeing if I could put it in there because I got a 200 terabyte little mini NAS for myself, and all my
Wow.
movies play off of there. Just for my Plex server, just fine.
Okay, very cool. Sorry to interrupt you, but continue.
No, no, no worries. So it's
I
well, I
know.
guess that's actually a big thing. So it's one we did play around with Windows 11 for ARM. We played around with Steam. I don't know if people seen the videos, but I was playing Mortal Kombat 9 off of Box for Droid on the device. We could do a lot of different things with this device, and the biggest thing for this is that marketing again to myself. I could go out, I could get an orange bar, I could put all this stuff in there just like everybody else can, but the average user can't. My mom can't. Kids don't really want to. People in the arcade scene don't necessarily want to always mod. Those same people who will pay 700-800 bucks for a cab with one or two games on it are the same people who would want to just get a device that they can play whatever they want on. And then I don't want to say the arcade scene itself is getting old, but just like the arcade scene too, people started also migrating to their home space. Back in then, it was you moved from Donkey Kong on arcade to being able to play it on the Atari. Wasn't the same level of graphics, but it was the next best thing to own it at home. So this is the natural progression of that scene itself, is to start bringing this stuff back home and to make sure for people who don't have a lot of space, people who can't always have an arcade sitting around, and you want to be able to play these same games, you'll be able to grab a bash box and be able to do what you want, and then you'll be able to just purchase these games as you need it.
Now, just to clarify for everybody in the chat, um, the now all those other systems like Windows 11 and like Linux and stuff like that. If you're gonna run a setup like that, like that's not stuff that's officially supported though. You're capable. The system is totally capable to do it, but it's not going to be something that's officially supported. So I just want to clarify for the chat that when you're talking about that, you're just talking about its capabilities. You're not saying like that's something that you guys are gonna officially support in any way.
Right, right.
We're
So
not supporting that. And if you brick it, hey, we can't help you on that.
now I want to say it's a little bit of a mixed bag, and I say official support as in if you try to install Windows 11, yeah, Windows 11 is kind of easy. You try to install your own like battle server builds and something fails on you, I can't officially support you, but it goes back to me being also a member of the community. Come out and say, hey man, I tried to put this on here and it broke, man. I need some help. Call me. I'll try to work with you. I'll try to work with you to fix it and see what we can do to help you. I've never turned away anybody. I've even back in my Unico days, I've seen people brick their MVSXs with the Hilo sticks, and I've built both. So officially, no, Unico can't give you a new one because you bricked your MVSX. But I've helped people restore their MVSXs because you tried to do something and it broke, and this was the device I worked on, and I'm part of the community. So it's just like I'm the same CEO of Bash Game, still Old Man Ruckus, in these streams and these chats and everything from there, because I'm not the other guy, if that makes any sense. I'm still a member of the community just as well.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, I think that's like an important thing to or to delineate between like what's officially supported and what it's capable of, but what's not officially supported. I mean, the fact that you are involved in that whole community is definitely, it's like a good presence to have because of what you just said. But I really wanted like clarity there for everybody in the chat.
Oh yeah. Yes, please do not. If you try to install something and it's not officially supported, don't bug Jay. You can bug me all you want, and I'll try to fix as much as I can, but don't bug Jay.
Okay, so chat, apologies for not bringing up a lot of the stuff in here. I've been just really focused, like trying to hear what they're saying. This is a product that I don't know very much about. It's very new to all of us. And you know how like the gaming community is. They're like, it's like a bunch of cavemen or cavewomen. They get like a new product and they're like, throwing it around and they don't know what to do with it at first. But the fact that this is like a licensed piece of gear that's coming in a packaged deal, so to speak, and it's just plug and play. And it officially is supported by Google Play Store. There's a lot of cool things about it. So I have this right here, which is the Ambernick handheld.
Right.
And oh my god, their handhelds are so fun. But this one is this one I'm trying to think. I can't remember what the processor in this is, but it's like a Dragon or something. Not a Snapdragon, but it's like a Dragon something. Anyways, it's really good though. Like it runs games like. What is it?
I'll say I love that Ambernick. And when I'm traveling, that's my go-to. I don't even pull out my Rogue Ally. I pull out my Ambernick.
Yeah. So you can use two things. You can use Hyperspin and you can use Launchbox on Android now, and.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not like a huge fan of the Android Launchbox because it's a little bit more annoying to work with than the one on PC. But it's still cool to have like a front end if you're like the type of person who does a lot of like emulating stuff, and it also works with like your downloaded apps that you have from the Google Play Store. So if you have like a bunch of games that you've downloaded from the Google Play Store, it works with that. I'm trying to get it started up here so I can show you guys. But it's cool to have something that's going to be like an official product line that you can pretty much use anywhere and in anything. That's so versatile and adaptable, and it's exciting.
Yeah, I know for me personally, Jade, as you know, you saw when I got that big old cab I was trying to sell out here in LA, the big old Revolutionary X. I don't have any more room. I got 3 full-size cabs. I got a couple one-ups. I need to break this down.
Yeah.
I don't have any more space. So I like like you said, the versatility of putting it on my projector, putting it on a TV, being able to do a bunch of things with it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, that's how I've been, for a while now, kind of like pulling back and breaking my collection down to things that I really only want to keep for specific reasons, like Donkey Kong, Blastroids. I have like number 498 of 2000.
Oh, wow.
And so there's a couple that like I'm going to keep them, but a lot of my stuff I'm going to sell. And then if I do get the chance to get like actual coin ops, I'm just going to restore them and like send them back out into the into the wild. Because I love doing that. But yeah, I think that with the release of Unico's Candy Cap coming up, that's like a very exciting thing for the home arcade community, because now you have an almost official, well, it is official, but an almost official design, the Candy Cap design, which is space conservative, but it's also has that big screen and it rotates.
About it, yeah.
And so you have a product that's now going to, offer people an opportunity to play all these games in one space. And, even light gun games and stuff like that is going to be very versatile as far as like what your options are. So whether you're using the bashbox or you're using, your own system in there, the point is that, you're not going to, I think it's going to offer people another option that's already done for them. They get it. And then, there you go. It may cost the price of 2 arcade 1-ups, but it's also a much more well-rounded, like as far as quality goes. Like it's a quality product. It's not just, their knock-on cardboard. So we have a question here from
Run them.
Keo. Sorry, it's going to be right over your face, Bill.
Yep.
It says, I'm confused about. Sorry, I'll let you take that one, Dom.
All right, so I'm confused about the license Google aspect. The Google Play Store is supported on Android, and if I download the OS, I have access to it. That's not actually true. So if you can download AOSP ROMs, and you can download different Google ROMs or even custom ROMs. Those Play Stores are not officially supported on those devices. So you can have, let's see, what's a good one? It starts with an L. Okay, Lineage. Lineage OS is one I've actually used a lot, and previously. And with Lineage OS, you can have one with Google Play Store installed, or you can have one without it installed. But Google does not officially support those devices, and you'd have to do them yourself. You'd have to actually add these ROMs. You'd have to add them with Google Play support on those devices themselves. So with normal AOSP, even the Orange Pi, Rock Pi, you can't just download an Android OS unless you download a custom ROM that has it on there, but they're not officially supported. So anything that happens with those devices that you download Google Play, you can't do anything about it. Google's not going to help you. They're not going to say, okay, what's this device? This device isn't a registered device. We can't do anything for you.
And Keo too. I mean, to drop what Bill's saying, it's exclusive. We have exclusive games that you're not going to be able to get on Google Play. Right. So I mean, yeah, Google Play is an option. I got that option on everything. I got the option on, like Messiah bragging about his monitor. I want to see that monitor, by the way. There's all kind of different ways to download this stuff.
And but what developer support?
Yeah,
developer support. You can't. Developers can target the bashbox and only officially support the bashbox. You don't necessarily have to have Google Play in order to make that. I'm sorry, you don't have to have a different device for that. So if you get, let's take the Ambernick for example. That same exact Ambernick you have, I have. In fact, that's what I used to use to test Tank Bash on. That's how I got the dual sticks working. But with that, you can download Google Play, but you can't. A developer can't target the Ambernick as a device to actually put games on. You'd have to target that whole range of devices. It goes back to just like the Shield TV. The Shield TV, for the time frame, when it came out, it was like between $249, $299, and it was able to do a lot of the stuff it was able to do, along with having official NVIDIA support. So you had games like Borderlands that you can't play anywhere else. You got games like Metal Gear Solid that you can't play anywhere else. You had special versions of NBA Jam and other games that you can't play anywhere. I don't even think NBA Jam's sold anymore because I still have my downloaded copy, and that still works there. You can't get exclusivity unless you have a licensed device.
Okay, so thank you for answering that question. Does that answer your question, Keo? So here's sorry, let me see if I can get this without the flare in there. Here's Big Box, Launch Box running on here, and this is Android, and then obviously all my other platforms are in there. But if you go up here, for example, so these are all the games that I have downloaded. Whoops, that I have downloaded from somewhere. from the Google Play Store. And if you go into that one, then I have them all set up so that, they've all got their little icons and everything. And you can customize it and choose like your icons and stuff like that. But anyways, so that's cool. And like, it's cool, again, going back to the bashbox, that it's going to be running an Android system, because then you'll be able to use things like this. Like, I think that Android is a really versatile platform when it comes to systems like this, because, all right, here you have a board that's capable of doing these other things like Linux and Windows. If you tweak around with it and do whatever you have to do to get there. But Android supports Google Play Store, so you're going to get your Android games. Then you're going to get the Bash exclusives, and then you're also going to be able to run different front ends on Android if you want to run like an emulation setup. So, like again, like Hyperspin or Launchbox. And I know there's a couple other, but just as far as like a graphical interface goes, like those are two of the best ones that I've found. And yeah, and this RG505 has been kind of like my key into that, because I've always looked at here's a good one. Sorry. Fortnite. Will it be able to run Fortnite? Because not all devices can run Fortnite. They have to be like licensed through Epic Games or something, I think. Android.
There's two different ways for Fortnite. So with Fortnite, we are actually licensed through the Google certification, so that can carry over to Epic. It's just more paperwork I got to do, and they're expecting my paperwork to get in. That's kind of what my Monday is going to be, is working with Epic for that specific reason. But with Fortnite in particular, right now you need it doesn't support mouse and keyboard touch until you get in game. So you have to use a different overlay app that allows you to use the mouse as touch, like as an actual register as touch instead of a mouse click. And that's how Fortnite runs, because right now it definitely runs really well.
But you can use a controller with it, because if I'm playing on my S10 Plus, I can use that Razer controller, which is like the USB-C port. So like the controller that comes with the bashbox, you can play with that, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the controller definitely works. It's just to start the game itself, you have to touch. And it doesn't register a mouse click as a touch. You have to actually touch it.
Okay. So, but for dorks like me who would play something like that with a controller, like it's just going to be plug and play. But the fact that it's going to support Fortnite is like, that's a cool thing, because you can't play Fortnite on Android unless it's like officially supported by Epic.
Right. There's ways to get around it, because there's always ways to get around other things, but with this, we're working on getting it so you can get rid of that touch requirement, just for this particular reason. Because right now, to start it and to initially log in, you have to have a touch-based device. Once you get past that screen, you're good. But that's where we're working with Epic to say, hey, could you get this there?
Very cool. Very cool. Cool. All right, let me scroll up here again. Chat, sorry, I've been kind of hyper focused here. I just want to see if there's any questions that I missed. Did you guys see anything?
So I saw one. Keo actually put up a good one. He said that from what I'm saying, that Google Play the games that we'll have will be will they be available to other devices?
We addressed
yes
that one.
And no.
We addressed that one, and he said
no. He wasn't here for it, because he had said will they theoretically be available for other devices, and that's where it goes back to what I was saying with exclusivity. There's a couple of partners that we're working with that said, no, we don't want our games on any other Android device but yours. That's kind of why we had to get the Google certification itself. But with specific games that will have, bowling will probably be available for everything. So will Tank Bash, but there's like 4 or 5 other titles that'll be available also through Google Play that won't be available on their devices, because developers have asked. They don't want them in Android. They want them to be available just for us, for different reasons.
Yeah, I think Keo said thanks in the chat, so I'm glad we was able to answer your question.
Yeah, definitely. I want to make sure I'm answering everybody, especially Jay's. How will this compete with products Ambernic RG505? What's the value and what's the go-to market strategy? So let's address all this. To compete with Ambernic, we're not competing with Ambernic, because Ambernic's doing a product a specific way that's targeting things that we can't actually target. The things that Amber Nick are doing, we can't do, but legally we can't do because I'll have Nintendo breathing down my neck. I do not have the money to fight Nintendo, so
Oh,
we have to go through things a little bit differently than Amber Nick can get away with. And that's not to say they're doing anything wrong on their end because again, I'm going to buy another Amber Nick too. But it's that their stuff is the way they're doing it, and we're doing ours differently. We're taking the NVIDIA route where we're making it accessible. We're making it so you can get whatever you want to get. You'll be able to install what you want to install, and it's open for you to experiment and play as you want to play. It's like I've been saying, play differently. But with our stuff,
you also got to program that, Bill. You got to program that Amber Nick. There's no exclusive games. There's nobody specifically developing for an Amber Nick. Right. You got to know what you're doing. Mensa had to help me set mine up. I'm sorry, I'm not a tech guy. Mensa set mine up for me and taught me how to use it. But for people like me, I'm not buying the Amber Nick unless I got a buddy like Mensa or Bill that's gonna set it up for me. I'm just being honest. Jay laughing at me. Hey, I got to call him. Hey, Bill set up my Steam Deck. He set up my Rogue Ally. I want something plug and play. I don't have time for that. Sorry. I love you techs and modders. I ain't got time for it.
Wait, what, let's see. Hold on, sorry. So Joel says, so a fun idea for this product would be to develop a gaming kiosk for this, not an arcade, but instead a kiosk pre-built. Oh, Joel is like a huge kiosk collector. So he has like, he just got like a Game Boy Color kiosk, and then he has like the Xbox kiosks and stuff like that. So he's talking about it would be cool to make like a bash, maybe like a bash mini kiosk or something with like a little screen on it.
Oh, that's good, Joe.
That is kind of cool.
So I would love to do that. Now, to do things like that, takes a lot of time, and an important thing that I don't have is money. So that's where, it's something I would definitely explore later down the line.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh, and I was scrolling back up there, and Malcolm answered, what was that Joust game? Galacticon. I was up on the leaderboards for that too before I sold my the iArcade I used to have. And that was like I really liked playing that game on the platform. I know it's on Switch and stuff, but it's a fun game. It's a really fun game.
Okay. I mean, I just recently I didn't play this on the iArcade, but I bought Wizard of War. Wizard of Walls, the Wizard of War remake, and I love that game. I super started getting into it. I was a big fan of Wizard of War. That's my only old school game that came out before I was born that I like. But it's I love that game. Wizard of Walls was, oh man, I was super getting into that.
Cool.
I had so I just got this thing for my Atari ST, excuse me, or my Atari XE, and it's called the Uno cart, and so you can use an SD card in it. I probably spent like 8 hours the other day. Like I was up until 3 a.m. compiling like a working game list of all the games that I wanted. And I was actually able to find every single game that I wanted to use on that and get every single one of them working, which is really, really cool for me, because if you ever owned an Atari when you were younger, especially like the computer Ataris, and you use a disk drive, you know that like the disk drive games would just break all the time, or your disk drive would just break. And so it was like you would play this game a couple times and be like, oh, this game is so fun. And then like the game just wouldn't boot right or something like. And so I was going through, and I was just able to basically track down and find all these games. And one of them was a game that, I don't know if either of you remember this, but there used to be a magazine called Analog Computing, and it would come with like a whole couple pages of code that you could manually type in on your computer and then save it to a disk, and then that would be how you got games. It wouldn't be like on the CD for you. You'd copy over by typing from the magazine to your computer. And there was this one game though that was called Bopotron, and I was actually able to find a working file for that. So, but I've been having a lot of fun with that. Random gaming fact for you guys, because I'm a total Atari nerd. But anyways, I was playing Joust, and then I was comparing it to like the 7800 version, which is a little bit sexier. Um, but it was a lot of fun. So I think it's going to be cool to see like that kind of stuff all in one place with like the consoleized, bashbox, and being able to use uh, all of that stuff on there. Because I mean, the Google Play Store offers a huge selection of emulators that you can either pay for or they're free. Um, but it's got like a massive collection of them, and I've got quite a few in my library that I use and that work really well on the Ambernic, not to mention RetroArch. So it's really cool because I mean I think for me something like that would be like the exclusives, and then games like because you said like stuff's going to be able to come over from the iArcade or whatever. So whatever's there that you couldn't get, I guess, on the Android platform would be cool if they're games that you like. So it's very exciting. It's just a very all encompassing platform, and I think that's the one thing that really intrigues me about it is the capabilities that it's going to have and the fact that it's a licensed product.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the main thing. And the other thing too, Jade, I don't think we touched too much on is indie developers. Right now, everybody knows Prince Malcolm. Prince Malcolm is locking down a lot of different indie developers that have been coming to us who are excited about having an opportunity to put some. Once iArcade and other companies have went on to glory, how we say, there's a chance now for these games to get out because right now there's so many games sitting in abyss. Like you said, Galacticon, good game. A lot of us wouldn't have known about it, but there are a lot of games that are sitting in the abyss that are looking for homes, and that's what Prince Malcolm's been pounding the pavement. And a lot of them are you going to see sitting on that bash box, and it's going to be a good thing and giving opportunities to those indie developers. As we are indie developers ourselves, we just want to give back. That's the key thing about this.
Definitely.
Yeah.
If anybody can get a hold of Vanilla Beast, please have him contact me. I've been trying to get a hold of this guy.
No, yeah.
But I know what happened with him, and I know the stuff that you can't talk about what happened with him. So if anybody can find him, please have him get a hold of me. I've been trying to get a hold of him for a little while.
So Retro Lizard is asking, is there a slot for SD cards, Bill?
Yeah, I just
This
answered.
will come with SD cards.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, I answered him. So chat, we've got about 15 minutes here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them up. We'll do like some Q&A right now, and then gentlemen, if you guys want to bring anything else up or
cool
or whatever, just go ahead, feel free to hit it.
All right, I'll keep it open for everybody else. It's a bunch of things I wish I could talk about now, but that's kind of why Dom's here, so I can't.
You can't talk about it, Bill.
Yeah, that's kind of why Dom's here to make sure I don't talk about things. But there's a lot of different things we have coming to this to this device that we wanted to. I didn't want to make this a simple, hey, can we show up? Can we install this emulator, that emulator? Cool. Do it. Whatever you get from Google Play Store, or again, this device will have the ability to sideload too. So you can put whatever you want to put on here, play as one you want to play. But I wanted people to have options. I wanted people to be able to get exclusivity that they can't just get from anything else. For all that, you can just buy a random, just like people say, you buy Orange Pie, Rock Pie, and put whatever you want. But I wanted people to be able to say, hey, I can get this. This is supported. If something's wrong, we know exactly who to go to. We know who to hold accountable. Toxin, I don't remember if Toxin shown, but I definitely had some demos of different games up on my YouTube channel. I got a few different things out there. I'm showing off Grand Theft Auto because Netflix just put those out there. I've seen, Netflix is also putting up Sonic Mania, which I'm super waiting on because that's going to look nice on here. Different games I've been able to play through Box for Droid, like Call of Duty, Black Ops, Mortal Kombat 9. There's a lot of different things you can do with this device that I want people to just be able to get in, plug it, and play.
Right.
It's real quick, guys. I put the Bash Discord. If you want to see some, I'll put it like this: if you want to see some Easter eggs, And that's all I'm gonna say. Come holler at us on Discord. Mensa, can you pin that Discord link I just dropped in the chat? Come join us. Let's have some fun.
Malcolm is saying our volume is really low, which is weird because I'm showing actually that it's like kind of high on my end.
Yeah, I can hear everything good. Prince, are you on that Starlink internet again? Move your satellite over, Prince.
Wait, what is this? They have no games on them, Bill. Hold on. Okay, here. From Brooklyn Menace.
Oh, good question, Brooklyn.
He says, Bill, can you put the bash box in an iArcade with GRS deck and sorry, I've got this stupid thing is covering it and switch over to it like we will be able to do with the Viper board?
So that's what Glenn's control deck is doing. He's allowing for different devices to be able to just get in, plug it, and play with those, with his deck. So theoretically, you should be able to plug it in and play everything the same way you would with the Viper. Because the Viper is actually going to be a super companion with with his Linux, with his focus on emulation for things from there. With his board is going to be super nice with having both of them in the same spot.
What okay, so the Viper board though, that is like it only supports like the what's it called? The Batacera.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which chipset is that?
I don't know for sure. I don't want to speculate. I don't want to get the line on Glenn.
Oh, okay.
I know he can play some games pretty good, decently. I've seen him run God of War, Change of Olympus pretty nicely on his device, so it's got to be somewhere up there.
Yeah.
Okay. Brooklyn says volume imperfect. Oh, Malcolm says, "Oops, it's me."
Starlink.
All right, chat. This is your chance. Ask away.
I keep seeing say they don't have any games. I don't know what they mean by they don't have any games or.
Bill, I want to drive home. I'm gonna ask a question. I'm chat. I want to drive home, Bill.
All right.
Again, what would make me buy the bash box? What's the selling point? What is going to be the differentiator between bash box? Somebody going to get the Amber. I want to draw that home. Give me something technical. Walk me away with this as we end it.
So this is the bash box is vastly more higher end than the Ambernick, just by nature of the device itself. And that's not against the slight against the Ambernick. They put what they could on a handheld device to get what they could at that price point they could get it for. And for what they've done, it's amazing because again, I have an Ambernick, and bowling, it plays really nice in there, just like Tank Bash, but it's also running at a lower resolution. It's running on a lower end chipset, and it's because of what the device does, and that's perfect for what it does. But the Bash box is perfect for what it does. It wants, we want to show off higher end games. We want to show off exclusive titles. We want 4K gaming, just like other guys. We want to be able to do, people. Canada Phil, we were talking about Zen Pinball. He actually is the one who got me to test this out and have. I had a the dual screen V-Pin set up using my Xbox controller at the time.
And no lag, right, Phil? No lag, right? With Zen Pinball?
No lag. 4K, 60 frames a second the whole time, man. I was playing Alien versus Predator on just two monitors set up in a weird configuration in my room. But that's how it was. That's how we had it there because it was Canada Phil gave me this idea. He's like, hey, they got 30 million Zen pinball tables.
Shout out to Canada Phil for that one because I didn't think about pinball.
Yeah, I didn't think about pinball either. Because I'm not big into the pinball scene, so only pinball I ever did is when I worked over at that game. So when he told me to try this out, I did. First thing I saw was Alien versus Pinball. I tried that. I started getting into some of those Williams tables. I saw those. There's like literally hundreds of Zen pinball table on the Google Play Store that you could just buy, and I'm just like, I've just started buying a bunch of them.
Shoot, don't tell.
I'm gonna get yelled at later about it, but it was.
Don't tell T-Line about that. She might build a pinball, a V-Pin, because I haven't seen her do it yet. I'm looking. She might do it.
I'll tell you this though, it was better when I turned off 4K and just made it 1080p and wanted 120 frames a second because it was Again, I've seen other pinball tables, and I'm pretty sure, the new At Games 4K, the one they could do 120, might be a little better with it. But this is the first time I've seen pinball at that high of a rate, so I'm like, oh, this is different than what I played. So it's definitely, something that I wouldn't have otherwise known if it wasn't for Canada Phil, but that's where I started looking for it.
Keo, you can message me, King Creole. Send me your information, Keo, or maybe Jade, if you have his information. I'm the PLC,
he's on Instagram, so he should.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'll find you on Instagram, Keo. I'm Zone King Creole on IG. Zone King Creole.
Wait, there was this gold cabs for sale, had no games. Oh yeah. That's they were saying had no games on them. They were talking about somebody who bought like a storage unit with a bunch of iArcades in it, and the iArcades had no games on them.
That might be a blessing in disguise, because those devices with no games on them are the perfect ones. They have no firmware, they have nothing on there. It's an empty space, empty vessel. Just grab a GRS control deck and put in what you want to put in, and that's perfect for those guys.
Yep. Now y'all got me thinking about V-Pen.
Well, yeah, no, I was gonna say, so I've always wanted just like one pin, and I've always been like, well, it's either gonna be an At Games, or it's gonna be like an actual pinball machine. And obviously, if you get an actual pinball machine, like they're a bit more high maintenance. And the At Games you can do a lot with to make it look and feel more like a pinball machine, but it's got a nice display. It's got a bigger, like, clear display, and obviously you can do a lot of cool things to get more games on there. But you can reskin it and do cool stuff like that. But it's just like the price is always like kind of turned me away, because I'm like, if there's anything that is like really close to the price of something like more heavy duty that I could get, I'm always going to be like, kind of like.
That's me.
Yeah. So.
Hey, here's my thing. I'm not buying no pinball machine until I get MJ Moonwalker. Once I finally get my hands on a Moonwalker machine, then we could talk pinball. But other than that, I'm not wasting money on it. Now, I did pre-order Addams Family, which that's a whole nother day. We'll talk about that. I did pre-order that.
Well, I've been so close to the Moonwalkers, but there was one out here. There still might be, actually, but there's one in Temecula that's in a storage unit, and I think the guy was asking like $3,500 for it, and it's like cherry. It's nice.
Really?
Yeah. I'll see if I can find it. I'll send you the link to it. But so he's trying to get rid of it. So if it's still there, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, because $3,500 is a lot. But for somebody who's collecting those, though, that's actually a good price. So
yeah, collector.
Let's see what it talks and say. I got an At Games micro, and I'm good with that. Oh, okay. Let me see if I missed anything else.
Yeah, Phil, we here. And Bill hasn't said nothing. He hasn't line crossed yet. So we do. I say we doing good.
Well,
I want to. There's a couple things I want to talk about. I'm being a good boy. Being a good boy.
Well, I think it's really good that you guys have been able to get out here and just articulate like all of the the ins and outs of the whole process of what you've done with this, where it's come from, the design, how everything is essentially, your own work that you've put into it to create this consoleized gaming system that's cross-compatible with, other arcade platforms and stuff like that. So I think that it's good for people to know that, and to know kind of like the ins and outs of it, so they don't just see it as like some, what's the word that I'm looking for? Is like, it's not going to be like an unsupported product. It's not going to be too complicated either. It's not going to be shovelware, and it's also not going to, it's going to be better than like, and I'm going to use the iArcade as an example because it was the iArcade, but it's, it's not going to be like the iArcade, and it's on a small enough level by being consoleized to where I feel like it's easier to manage because you already have the open end system of Android running on it, and then you have your support secondarily, or whatever you want to say. So I think that at that smaller level too, it's less for you guys on your end to manage, with running into problems and dealing with hardware and stuff like that. Like it's essentially just a controller, in the box itself. So it leaves a lot less for, people on the user side to deal with, and kind of simplifies things. Plus,
that's what I do.
Plus the pricing. Like, I mean, I think it's important for people to know kind of like the breakdown of, how the pricing works. Because I think when you're doing something like this, a lot of times consumers don't realize the cost and the time that goes into licensing and certifications. And, again, you running Android and having to get official certifications to do the stuff that you're doing, and, have your own dev time into the system as well. Like there's just a lot that goes into it. So then to design your own board and have that produced and all these other things that go into it. I mean, I think that $250 seems like a reasonable price to me for, at the end of the day, overall for what you're getting with the system. And let me ask this real quick. What games does it come with on it, like pre-installed, like what bash games or anything?
So there's 7 titles that are coming in the standard models, and that's Bowling, Heavy Metal Titans, Tank Bash, and 4 other titles that are licensed. That's not counting Global Matches titles that they're going to have with theirs. That's just Bash games and Bash licensed titles. There's 10 that are coming in a special edition console that I'm trying to make 12. And there's a different special edition that may come out that I definitely can't talk about, but those ones should come with about 50 of them. But
Bill, don't forget that special edition is going to be branded to that license.
Yeah, there's.
That's cool. So you guys are gonna have like an exclusive. That's cool.
Yeah, they're gonna. It's 2. One, that's we're in the works for. I'm trying to make sure the hardware, and that's kind of the one that I'm talking about right now is the super reason why we had to get Google Play certification, because they were okay with their games being distributed through Google Play, but they wanted specifically targeted to the Android, to the bashbox. So the only way to do that is to get Google certification. So,
and that's the other thing. That's the other thing too, Bill, that you failed to mention, that guys, people hear Google Play Store and what? But sometimes the license holders, and a lot of people don't understand licensing, sometimes the license holders want you to be certified and have certain things on there. So like you said, we had to go through certain processes just to even get the game. So
I had to, they forced me to make sure I had trackball support. They forced me to make sure I had different things that worked with this with these titles that are also going to be on Global Match later. But the special edition console was really kind of why we got the certifications we got, because we really wanted to get this title out. And I feel like it's going to be a different level of us putting games out there, because we're taking the NVIDIA Shield TV route, where they had their own games that are still, you can only download on a Shield TV. And it's even hard to do that now. You can't just get you can't get Metal Gear Revengeance anymore on a Shield TV without going through a lot of hoops and hurdles to download it. But officially, it's on the Shield TV.
Okay, so hopefully, I guess we'll wrap it up. It's been really good having you guys on. Like, thank you for coming on and answering all these questions. And I hope for the chat and everybody who watches this, I hope that you guys find like all the answers, like straightforward facts that you guys are looking for, and that it clears a lot of questions up. I will be leaving a link down in the description to the website. And if you guys want, I can leave a link to the Discord in there as well.
Yep, you can do.
Okay. And so that information will be down in the description. If you're watching this later, or if you want to come back later and check it out, that stuff will all be there. And again, it was a pleasure having you guys on. Is there anything you'd like to say before we cut out?
No, I just Sheila, thank you so much for having me. I super appreciate you taking this time for me. And I just want to give a shout out to the community. Everybody there is what made us to where we are. All the guys everybody who initially bought the first game we ever put out, Time Killers. It goes back. That's how far we've been doing this. And even then, we've been making the same Zone Blaster that's on Zone Blaster 3 at this point before we got to release it. But we've been making these games for a little while. People supported me back through the Unico days, and then that's what got me here. So I want to give a big shout out to the community and thank you guys all for what you've done for me to support all the people yelling at me to make things better. And from there, that's why we're able to do this.
I want to say, Sheila, thank you so much for your Sunday and your time. And just to drive home, we just a bunch of friends that decided to do this. Like Bill said, we're not millionaires. A lot of us got day jobs, but we are indie developers, an indie team. We want to help out and give back to the community that we been a part of, that we supported, that we put games out for. Now is our time to shine. Now is Bash turn, and we're going to do something that we want to do. We've been helping a lot of folks for years, and now it's showtime. And so we appreciate you guys' support. Folks that want to reach out to me on Instagram, Zone King Creole. Keo, I see you wanted to talk after this. Reach out to us after the show. And again, thank you, Sheila, for the opportunity to come talk about what we're trying to put out. And we also working on a tech sheet. So look out that from Messiah's Gaming, who's a mod on this channel. We're going to be putting out a tech sheet. It's going to be dropped in the Discord, and you're going to be sending it on the social medias just so you can. I like to have a graphic. So we're going to point out all kind of things on this graphic. And so stay tuned for that. And thank you guys for taking the time out on this Sunday.
Yeah, it was a pleasure having you guys, and I really I hope that this I hope that it grows and it gets a following and gets out there. I think it's going to be a great product. It's going to be a nice choice for people in the community to have there, and I think it's going to be a great thing on a bigger scale. For people who are looking for options, whether it's retro gaming or if they're getting a Unico candy or just have an empty shell that they want to turn into, like an arcade or gaming system or something like that. So very cool. Thank you for coming on. And would love to have you guys back on once you get things launched, to talk more about stuff. And thank you for answering all the questions. And chat, everybody, y'all have a great holiday, a safe holiday season. Much love to you all, and until next time, I'll see you guys then.
Peace.